one thing that we wanted to highlight is that it doesn't have to be this way. I know you and some of your colleagues have a better vision for what Congress could do and how the federal government could be operating. So in your view, what are you working on? What are some things that you have going on that takes us maybe in a different direction than where it's going right now?
Yeah, the Republican conference is rolling out the Commitment to America, where we're really focusing on, let's get back to how do we grow the economy? How do we make sure that we make America secure and safe, whether it's border security, whether it's crime, whether it's making sure that we focus on what are the priorities that we should be spending money on. And part of that gets back into, we need to be following regular order, and we need to be following the process that was intended, that we have debate in the chamber, we have debates in committees, and the bills get brought to the floor so that we can debate and work through those process and move forward. So that's a big piece that we're looking at, and I expect Republicans to be in the majority next conference. I mean, that's kind of the expected standard now. I firmly believe it'll happen, just because the American people are seeing the bad policies that are coming out of the Biden administration and the Democrat majorities in the legislative branch. And so the piece that we've got to start working on is, how do we get back to regular order? How do we focus on our national debt? For example, that's a huge thing right now.
Yeah.
All of this spending and these tax and spending programs have just ballooned the national debt, even more so than it was. I mean, we already were spending more than we were bringing in tax receipts. And there really hasn't been much discussion at all about what do we need to do there. And so it's a process now. There's some Republican members and a few Democrats as well. We're trying to have some dialogue about how do we work through and come up with a plan that addresses the deficit, and therefore allows us to get a handle on the debt. Because we're getting to the point where the debt is growing so large that I think the projections are, in 3 years, interest payments will be more than what we spend on the defense of the country and through the military.
Wow.
And I mean, that's a horrible way to run the greatest country on earth.
No, you're absolutely right. I think at the last estimate I saw, and I could be wrong, but I think the latest breakdown, and I shouldn't do this off the cuff, but I think it was almost $250,000 per American, how it breaks down as far as the debt responsibility goes for each individual.
Yeah, and it's tough to keep up with those numbers because they're growing so big.
And every minute,
And you look at it as, in one case you may look at it as an individual, other case you may look at it as a family of four.
Right.
Because in reality, that's the impact too, is how does it hurt our families? And whether you're trying to put food on the table or buying new clothes to go back to school, or put gas in the car so you can drive to work to afford everything else. And it's continuing to grow, both on per person as per taxpayer, as well as on the family basis as well. Yeah.
It's absolutely true. I even see moms where I live in Topeka, and it is clearly hurting everyday Kansans in all aspects. Yeah. And it's just, we can do better, and we do have a better vision for how we can govern better and take this country in a much better direction going forward.
It really is, and at the core, we've got to get back to what the Founding Fathers intended. I mean, their whole goal was, they didn't want a big, powerful government. I mean, that was the intention. They were escaping from that.
Right.
And instead, what we're seeing now is, under the Democrats, and their vision is to have a big government. Their vision is to have the government control so many things, whether it's what you can choose as an individual, what your businesses can operate, how they can, who gets money borrowed from a bank and to open up a business. And it's actually becoming the kind of business that our forefathers ran from in order to start America.
Right.